Now, Northwest Indiana's 9 o'clock news. Lakeshore News Tonight.
Thank you for choosing Lakeshore News Tonight. I'm Renetta Dubose. Jody Jewell is off tonight. With this fall's general election less than 50 days away, 2 Republicans are campaigning in the region talking tax reform. Today, Indiana's United States Senator Dan Coats toured U.S. Steel Gary Works, and congressional candidate Joe Phelps spoke to supporters at a fundraiser in Crown Point.
Look up, pay attention on both sides.
United States Steel Gary Works opened mill doors for U.S. Senator Dan Coats and media crews for a closer look at how the billion-dollar industry stays competitive.
Today on the tour, we'll highlight our commitment to safety, environmental protection, the production of high-quality steel, and our significant investments into Northwest Indiana.
During a look at operations in the North Sheet Mill, Gary Works General Manager Matthew Perkins says U.S. Steel employs more than 6,000 people between its Gary, East Chicago, and Portage plants. He says USS produces 7 million tons of steel a year in the region, and because the product is used for a diverse group of industries such as automotive and construction, the mill stayed afloat during the economic crisis in 2009. But Senator Coats says lawmakers can do more.
We need a growing economy so we can build bridges, so we can build buildings, so we can use steel. And so ultimately, what we need to do in Washington directly affects you.
Coats spoke to a group of steel workers prior to the tour, agreeing that governments can aid in fostering more apprenticeships. He also says the federal government needs to stop borrowing money from China, reform the tax code, and create jobs.
Make the tough decisions to do what we need to do to stop the excess spending, get our country back on a growth trend so we get more people back to work.
Coats, who is not up for re-election, headed to Yuki Country Club in Crown Point to support Joe Phelps in his quest to unseat District 1 Congressman Pete Visclosky. Phelps plans to focus on the appropriations bill during his first term in order to spur economic development in the northern part of Lake County. The Hammond native and conservative also advocates a flat tax because he believes 1% is fair.
I think there's a large difference between folks that can't take care of themselves and don't think they can. There's been times in my life I didn't think I could either, but we found a way, made a way. You pray about it, you get together with your relatives, your friends, you make a way. Now for those that can't, those that truly can't, I think we've got more than enough, and I think it's absolutely our role to take care of those people.
Phelps hopes to invest dollars in transportation and public safety throughout Northwest Indiana if elected. Another prominent Republican Lieutenant Governor candidate, Sue Ellspermann, is including Northwest Indiana in her campaign. She was in Maryville Saturday to speak to Lake County Republicans. Lakeshore News reporter Sarah Hull says Ellspermann described her small-town roots and business experience before highlighting 6 major goals of Mike Pence's roadmap for Indiana.
Republican gubernatorial candidate Mike Pence has 6 areas of focus for his administration in what he calls the roadmap for Indiana. His running mate, Sue Ellspermann, talked about those policies Saturday with Lake County Republicans.
Indiana is on the right track. Not so much at the federal level, but Indiana is on the right track because we've done the right things and we continue to plan on keeping those going.
The first goal, increasing private sector employment, includes a moratorium on new business regulations and an income tax reduction.
To, of course, maintain our structurally sound budget and reserves that we have in place, but also we believe we can cut personal income taxes by 10% over the next 2 years, which will put $225 more in the average family's pocket and $1,000 more in the average small businesses' pockets.
Pence's plan also aims to attract new investment to Indiana, improve elementary math and reading skills, increase graduation rates, and improve the Hoosier workforce. Last week in Indianapolis, Pence discussed the final portion of his plan, improving the health and well-being of families and children by promoting marriage, saying that strong families will mean a strong economy.
If you can go on and get into the workforce or a college degree and then get married before you have children, you have a much greater probability of success in the future. And so we want to make sure that our families are supported.
Pence's opponent, Democrat John Gregg, has called the final policy in the roadmap a moral agenda. However, Pence says his focus on marriage is more about economics than social policy, a point which is likely to receive attention at next month's gubernatorial debate. In Maryville, Sarah Holst, Lakeshore News.
Police say they were busy with 2 men who led weekend police chases. Lake County Sheriff's Public Information Officer Patty Van Til says police arrested Jeffrey DeMond after a Saturday police chase. She says an officer in Gary tried to stop DeMond for a burned out license plate light. She says that's when DeMond fled, causing more officers to join the chase and shoot out his tires. Van Til says DeMond kept driving, almost hitting officers on foot before crashing into a tree and fleeing on foot himself until a police dog stopped him. She says 51-year-old DeMond faces at least 2 felony charges for the police chase. Well, Officer Van Til says a Sunday traffic stop also brought a police chase, this time in Cedar Lake. She says that's where 2 officers stopped Leonard Shabir, who tried to drive away. Van Til says that one is after officer removed Shabir's keys. He refused to exit his vehicle or take a field sobriety test. She says he then used another set of keys to start the engine and take off, leading a chase through Cedar Lake and Lowell. Van Til says Shabir disregarded stop signs and speed limits until police stop strips deflated his tires. She said his blood alcohol content tested .184, more than twice the legal limit, and he faces multiple related charges. Well, meteorologist Justin Thompson-Gee is substituting for Matt Wentz, who's on his honeymoon, and Justin has a preview of our forecast.
Yeah, it was a very chilly day today, nice and brisk when you woke up. Otherwise, some warmer temperatures in store for tomorrow, but also some rain and typical fall weather for the rest of the week. All that and more.
All right, thanks, Justin. Well, a doctor says this competition is healthy. That's Story Sports and your forecast when Lakeshore News Tonight returns.
See more of the allergy problems throughout the seasonal changes. There are certain things that we recommend patients to do. Some of those involve using medications such as nasal sprays and antihistamines. Typically, most patients by the time they come to see us have already exhausted those techniques, and we often use surgical techniques using endoscopic surgery to help alleviate their problems that have not been treated appropriately with medication. My name is Dr. Jack Patel, and for your health, see your primary care physician or your ENT specialist for symptoms that you're experiencing.
Is it okay for workers to work where the conditions are so dangerous that it could cost them their lives?
A horrific tragedy.
The last thing I remember seeing was my sister Marie, enveloped in flames.
That changed the American workplace forever.
Down came the bodies in the shower, burning.
The cause of these workers had been underlined in blood.
Triangle Fire on American Experience.
There was no such thing as coming out or being out. There was no out, there was just in.
The event that launched a worldwide movement.
This was the Rosa Parks moment, the time that gay people stood up and said no.
That night, the police ran from us.
There was no going back. We had discovered a power that we weren't even aware that we had.
Stonewall Uprising on American Experience.
Somewhere in the world, a baby is about to be born. In the wild, that's the moment life's most critical lessons begin. Next time on Nature.
Welcome back to Lakeshore News. A veteran is looking for help to find 4 men who attacked him at a Hobart bar. Lindsay Kramer spoke with the Hobart man and his supporters tonight.
Purple Heart Vietnam Marine and American Legion Post 54 Vice Commander Earl McDowell wants the 4 men who attacked him at Crestmore Country Club in Hobart to turn themselves in. Tonight, a press conference was held with several veterans groups who support the Legion and McDowell. McDowell was attacked at Crestmore on Friday after giving the bartender a Legion suspension letter to give to a bar patron. Now, the patron was being suspended for telling Legion bar patrons previously to leave the Legion and to go to Crestmore.
And I was hit from behind and slammed into the wall. I turned around, one swung at me, I blocked it. Luckily at that time, somebody came out of the restroom, jumped in between us and said, "No, you guys need to stop, you're going to get in trouble." I think he actually saved my bacon because I say there was 4 of them.
They're taking it out on us, and I'm sorry for them, but I don't
I don't have anything to do with their business, and they shouldn't have anything to do with mine.
Legion members want Crestmore staff to comply with certain demands as a result of the incident. Now, no one has been charged, and Hobart police are investigating the incident. In Hobart, Lindsay Kramer, Lakeshore News.
In tonight's Business Spotlight, a business expo is bringing the head of Chicago's Federal Reserve Bank to Hammond this week. The Lakeshore Chamber of Commerce hosts lunch with Charles Evans Thursday. The Chamber's 8th annual Business Expo follows lunch with the Reserve Bank's president and chief executive officer. The lunch starts at 11:30 a.m. and requires reservations. The expo concludes with business after hours from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Another after-hours event means business for a cause. Scapel Cadillac will host Business Networking Thursday to support Boys and Girls Clubs of Northwest Indiana. The fundraiser features former NFL player Jared Tomich, along with Hummer off-road rides, a dragster rail car, and a Harley-Davidson simulator. The event starts at 5 p.m. at Scapel Cadillac in Maryville. Well, students in Gary took part in recreational activities to celebrate education. Hundreds of kids attended the Back to School Jamboree held Saturday. African American Achievers Youth Corp Inc. Chairman Vernon Smith says the event encourages students to go back to school if they have dropped out or excel if they are currently enrolled. The first 300 students received free school supplies. Smith says others participated in a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, a dance competition, and a double Dutch jump rope contest. Smith says he is looking for financial and physical support to continue helping children.
This is quite a costly event to put it on. Just buying the trophies, providing all the food, getting all of the school supplies that we give away. I can't tell you how much that costs, and the backpacks.
Smith says students spoke with mentors one-on-one and in small groups. To donate to the Back to School Jamboree, contact Vernon Smith at 887-2046. Well, meteorologist Matt Wentz is away this week, and Justin is here with our AccuWeather forecast next.
Scapel GMC Buick has been serving Northwest Indiana and the Chicagoland areas for over 40 years. The Scapel difference includes an enjoyable car buying experience and state-of-the-art service. Learn more at our remodeled showroom on Route 30 Maryville or online at scapel.com.
Over the years, Wayne Svetnoff has consistently picked winners every week on the show. I just don't know how he does it. These guys are high school football.
This was the great unfulfilled engineering challenge of the world.
Few believed it was possible.
They're going to raise ships up over the American continent, in effect.
The most ambitious, audacious project of its time.
This is what American power, technological know-how, determination, this is what it can do for the whole world.
Panama Canal on American Experience.
There's an old saying on Wall Street that the two most important emotions are fear and greed.
It was another time when Americans thought prosperity would last forever.
So many people made so much money in the market, it seemed that you just couldn't go wrong.
But it all came crashing down.
It was wild panic. Just like chickens with their head cut off, they didn't know which way to run.
The crash of 1929 on American Experience.